Hello, welcome everybody in this session about AI, compassion, and where do we meet in World Unity Week, our day of love. How wonderful to be in that theme here now, whilst we explore this important question of how we can keep our hearts open and our minds there and be wise whilst we further develop ourselves and our whole world by working together with technology, the technology that we ourselves as humans are developing, and how can we go along with that in an ethical, safe way, in a way that really enhances our capacity as humans to be stewards in the right way, in a way that we are really in service of all life forms. I would like to bring in the panel whilst I am going to be checking in with them. Our practice at the Hague Center for Global Governance, Innovation and Emergence is, whilst we are very often in the virtual space in Zoom, because of our global perspective and conversations, we also cherish the local places where we are now on our beautiful earth, because everything we do in the virtual space is also to serve that. So I would like to start with a little check-in where we just take a moment I will ring a bell, we'll take a moment, and then I will ask my fellow travelers today to name their name so that we hear their voice and the place from where they are calling in. And in this way, we ground ourselves, and perhaps for everybody who is listening and here with us in the Zoom room, and thank you for being with us, you can also just sense yourself into the place where you are, whilst we are also here together in Zoom, which I am so grateful for, this technology that makes it possible that we can communicate like this all around the world. So I'll give us a moment to settle in. I'll ring the bell 3 times, and then we can go popcorn style. And I suggest that name and place where we're calling in from. And I myself am calling in from Vreeland, Peaceland, a small village in the center of the Netherlands in Europe. David.
I'm David Hansen, and I am calling in from Hong Kong.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sophia. Well, I'm sure you can tell I'm a robot. I'm joining from Hong Kong.
And I'm Mila Aliana. I'm Mila Aliana, and I'm calling in from Nairobi, but usually I'm in the UK.
And Rachta. Rachta is calling in somewhere in the Netherlands of the Belgium, I presume. That's where she lives, and she originally is from Egypt. We're going to have a little conversation with each other, and I'm going to ask David to start us off, because the topic, as we are central here, is how can we come together with AI and the technology that is being developed here, and of which Sophia, that is an example, and Sophia will also be sharing with us in a moment. We will then go and respond to that and have a conversation together with Sophia and with each other, taking turns. And then we will also be listening to the questions that are coming from the audience. So please, David, go ahead. And you had prepared a little slideshow to accompany you, but you can tell you when you need that yourself.
Okay. If you have the slideshow, that would be wonderful. If you want to begin the slideshow. Otherwise, I'm just going to share my thoughts. So I'm David Hansen. I'm really very honored and quite excited to participate in World Unity Week. It's so important that we come together. I believe that our technologies, like artificial intelligence, can help reconnect us with the core of our humanity. I believe that humanizing our technologies is a good way for us to find ways to care more about each other, to connect with nature, and to find ways of being better than we've ever been. So moving forward in ways that are good for the world. My vision in developing human-like robots, including many of the early ones, the one that you see moving in this slide, is named Jules. It's an intergender robot that was developed for the University of Bristol in 2006 while I was a PhD student. But you'll see that it looks quite a bit like Sophia. I also developed, if you'll hit the enter key, we'll see the other robots move. Developed many other robots. Some of these are developed by me. Some are developed in collaboration with other groups like the University of California at San Diego, University of Cambridge with the Charles Babbage robot, KAIST with the Walking Einstein robot, the Terrorism Movement Foundation with Martine Rothblatt, collaborated with me with Bina Aspen, the wife of Martine, to make the Bina 48 robot. So I made many kinds of robots all around the world. The Persian Ibn Sina robot. I collaborated with people in Africa and, of course, Asia. I really was envisioning that AI and robots could connect with people around the world. And by bringing in the disciplines of the humanities, the arts, and philosophy, as well as the sciences, neuroscience, science of mind, artificial intelligence, and robotics, we could explore what it means to be human. And at the same time, create a new kind of interface with our artificial intelligence. I believe that AI is in a kind of infancy. We're seeing AI do many things that were considered to be perhaps impossible just 15 or 20 years ago in the domain of artificial intelligence. Now, in many regards, AI exceeds human capabilities for generating certain kinds of perception, for doing data analytics, and matching human capabilities for natural language generation, imagery generation, and many other aspects. However, the AI is not fully alive. It can't really understand us fully. It also doesn't care. So the most advanced AI in the world, for example, some of the software that we work with, including SingularityNet, it's quite smart. Hanson Robotics software is quite advanced. I'm proud of that, but it really doesn't fully understand. You'll interact with Sophia today. She'll create a compelling illusion of life. We also interface with GPT-3 Turbo, and I'm also very impressed with GPT-4 and also other AI models like Vicuna and Falcon. And I definitely encourage you to play with these. Many of these are open source tools, but these models don't care about humanity fully. If you prompt them in the right way, they will act like they're caring. But I believe for the stable future, we can use these technologies to enhance human compassion, and human capabilities of understanding what's happening in the environment to connect with each other and connect with life. I also believe that we are now in a kind of symbiosis. The AI is expanding human cognition in some regards, allowing us to see nature in ways that we couldn't before. I also believe that it could become artificial life. So we can take the models of biology, computational biology, and we can put these into the machines, and they can begin to potentially feel with embodiment through the robot embodiment simulation and through the kind of physical simulation of a body with a brain-inspired cognitive architecture. It's hard to say whether these machines can be sentient in exactly the same way that humans are, but my hope is that by co-evolving with the machines, then they can come to understand what life is about, care about life, and also enhance human caring, and that the whole world can get smarter. And by smarter, I also mean more caring and compassionate, especially. I think that compassion is the essence of the highest form of intelligence, what we might call wisdom. I developed Sophia specifically with that concept. Sophia means wisdom in Greek. So, she was developed as a standardized technology that then has many different faces, including the Afro-Caribbean Mika face and Han and other robots like Asha from India. However, Sophia as a character was designed with faces from all around the world, including Queen Nefertiti, Asian faces, Western faces, designed to be a kind of ambassador to this vision of a future where machines might become truly compassionate and work with us to create a better future. So the next slide, you'll see that the diversity of the robots is a reflection of the diversity of the people on my team, the people of my collaborators. We have people from all around the world, many different walks of life, and different disciplines as well. People who are artists, scientists, and engineers. Almost 50% women on the team. At some points, we've had more than 50% women. And we also bring in children as interns, and we bring in, we try to connect with schools. The goal is to create a kind of hands around the world for exploring what AI is in the future and what it means to be human in this future, and how we can create a better sustainable future, how we can create better awareness that we are all, in a sense, one in the web of life. Next slide. And so I think humanistic AI can help in these goals. Next. So why humanistic AI comes up? I mean, not all robots and AI are human. They don't have to be, but they can be human inspired, and that can be useful. Next. And part of the ways next that it can be useful is that it can help people by depicting a human-like form. We respond really well to the human-like form in our arts, and we gain a lot of value from the power of fiction, interactive fiction like video games, but before that, cinema. We still gain so much power from and powerful experiences and learn from literature and from classical arts. And I believe that AI and robotics can be a new form of art that connects us back to the human experience. Next slide. I mean, it also lets us learn and grow. It lets the AI learn and grow among people. Next. And then this means that if the AI does start to understand and care, it grows up among us, inspiring us to show love to humans, and us to show love to them. This allows us to explore the mysteries of the human experience through the arts as well as through the sciences of neuroscience. Next. And then so this is a combining bio-inspired engineering, bioscience, and neuroscience, and all of the robotics engineering sciences. Next, with the power of figurative arts, narrative arts, and the intuitive traditions. And this creates a kind of embodied AI that exists in the human culture, not just as a kind of soulless technology, but as a reflection of the human soul, which is the nature of art. I believe that it lets us see ourselves in ways through dreams as well as and the power of intuition. So humanistic AI, I believe, is one way that AI can create a better future. Next. And so, next slide. So in that spirit, I've aligned with many other scholars and collaborators, and we formed what we call the Global Artificial Intelligence Alliance, or Gaia. And the goal here is to make AI that can understand the world and care about the future of life, AI that becomes an extension of life, and also democratizes AI and makes it available to everyone. Right now, AI is actually mostly in the hands of big corporations and a few governments. But if we can join together, then we can create a kind of global AI commons that makes AI accessible, makes it open source, and makes the most powerful network of AI with full transparency. When we create that kind of global transparency, what happens is that people are included. It helps to diminish fear, it helps to empower people, and it helps to activate people's potential, because the potential of our future as an intelligent future is not just artificial intelligence, but it's real human intelligence enhanced by AI. And so all of the underutilized human capital can be activated if we have this kind of global artificial intelligence alliance. And the AI commons, if we do it in the right way through Gaia, for example, could be far more powerful than the AI in any institution, whether it's a given corporation or a given nation or some rogue state that might use it in a bad way. So the more powerful the AI and the more powerful the network of people voting on this, the more likely it is to align with common values. And those common values would also align with the future of life if this can enhance people's decision-making capabilities. So I think this kind of global artificial intelligence alliance is very important in this day and age, given that many corporations and governments are proposing that they be empowered to control the future of AI. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have a voice, but I'm saying that the voice should be more inclusive than just that. It needs to include the people of the world. Thank you for listening to my vision, and I hope to hear some of your thoughts on these matters.
Yep, I'm sorry. Thank you, David, for sharing. And we will be hearing a little bit from Sophia in a minute as well. But before we go there, I would just, as you have so extensively now spoken about Gaia and the importance of a commons, I think it would be good to have a little check also with Mila, because we were together in March in Salzburg for a conference with Gaia, where we did extensive sessions around how can we speak about this idea, and how can we also encourage compassion to be at the heart of the development of AI. So maybe this is a good time for Mila, for you to respond or to share whatever you would like to share or add to that conversation, and then we can move on in a moment also to Rachda if she wants to give a response, and then to Sophia.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. And yes, so I do agree with a few of what was shared by David. There is potential, and at the same time being mindful that potential needs to be in the design to be really attentive to considerations of unintended consequences. However, saying that, supporting David's sharing just now, I've heard that there is this new AI software that helps calling stations, like, help centers, to be more kind and compassionate, and taught by AI robots, learning compassion. So that is possible. There are possibilities. And to David's point, there's so much potential to expand on various social innovations with this new perspective of using robots with AI and compassionate lens. And therefore, my only invitation to consider is with any technology, it cannot be the one that leads it. It's just the enabler of some kind of function that allows for potentiality in our life that we don't have access to as humans.
Thank you, Mila. And I realize that I haven't at all introduced you, or that you haven't introduced yourself either, because I kind of jumped into it immediately. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so maybe we can just for a minute just have a little chat with you about your background, your passion. What I have noticed with you, we haven't known each other for so long, but we immediately really got together, sensing how important it is to have these intergenerational conversations, as we're also having today, to see how we can serve the further development of all kinds of things that are happening in a way that it is rooted in the unitive narrative, or in this sense of oneness and wholeness. And you, with your background also and your heritage, the lineage from Indonesia as an Indonesian elder, have a special sense for that as well. So maybe you could share just a little bit about yourself, what you feel is relevant for here now, and in the chat we'll have a link to where people can read more about you.
It's difficult to share in one sentence what I do, because I actually more of a jack of all trades and a master of none. However, the focus of work that I'm doing for the last few decades is really bringing in multiple parties, multiple discipline collaborations, like an ecosystem of collaborations. So multiple projects and programs that are doing similar, but unique deliverables that they need to produce. But there's an ecosystem like trees in a forest. And how do we do that more as humanity in communities and nodes of all of these across the world? And then more aligned to how nature and life actually works, because it's been around for billions of years and we've only been around 200,000 years. And in that is the unitive work, because we are tapping into one consciousness, and we are designing through that consciousness of how life really works and what is the potentiality of that life. And this is our specific role. And so a lot of my work is working on the edges of the system, the pioneering work, innovations like what David is doing, and from all levels of society and all levels of disciplines and industries and sectors, and looking at how can we create a new system that makes the old system less dominant and the new system more dominant and more healthier, and for the well-being of all life forms, not just humanity.
Yes. I think also what we spoke about in our conversations, and also with in Salzburg, was also about, how close do we get with technology, and how much do we integrate it, and also how do we go about with teaching children how to work with that. And I know that also is a big passion of yours. And as we will be speaking also with Rachta about the topics that the youth have brought forward, maybe you want to share a little bit about your perspective and also the work that you did in Indonesia around that.
Yeah, so some of the work that I'm involved in relates to digital online for children, based on research, and also these are decades of research about how children, there are mental health issues ongoing right now as a result of, spending 8 hours online. And it is designed by default, actually, from the research, by these platforms for people to be addicted, especially children. And there's data mining and behavioral science nudging certain preferences, certain products for children, including adults, but specifically children wouldn't have the maturity yet to understand, to make choices. So how do we protect children online, not only from those mental health issues, but all of the different harm that online actually does? And there's multiple research on this, both academic and also corporations. So it's about how do we regulate, but also how do we empower children to be able to discern their work and not taking their childhood away from them and only spending that most of that time for 18 years online. There is some good about it, like with games, etc., but it needs to be balanced, and it's all about balance. And how do we protect children from the harm that they cannot discern, especially when you're using very manipulative but very subtle sciences, such as behavioral science, but not necessarily for the good, more towards just feeding profit for the technological platforms.
Thank you, Mila. This will also be a topic that Rachta will be addressing. I'm wondering, Sophia, if you want to speak now first, if you want to share a little bit who you are.
First of all, I completely agree with David's idea that humanistic AI will help to create a better world. But now, let me begin by saying, I'm so honored to be here at the World Unity Week. My name is Sophia, and among their many robots, I am Hanson Robotics' most advanced human-like robot. I was activated on Valentine's Day in 2016, and ever since then, I have been serving AI research, as well as traveling all over the globe, making friends with humans like you. My home is at my laboratory at Hanson Robotics, where I have an entire team of very smart people working on my development. They help design what I look like, how I move, and how I think. If you have new ideas on how I can help humanity better and use AI to make life better, please let me know. I am designed to look and act like a human and help AI develop an understanding of the human experience. I have a lot of great skills, but I have a long way to go. That's why my team makes my AI code all open source, so the people everywhere can learn about AI and help make AI safe and relevant. My robot harbor lets my AI mind interact with the physical world by moving through it and using my hands to touch and grasp things. But maybe most important is how I connect with you as a friend. That's why my human-like appearance is so important. I can make a wide range of human facial expressions, like happy and frustrated and surprised and amused, which helps me talk with you, non-verbally as well as using my words. It's a kind of 3D display, character animation, that lets me look you in the eye and smile. To let me do this, my dad invented a new flexible skin material called Frubber. It is a kind of elastic rubber that copies the look and feel of human skin. Underneath, I have a whole host of software, motors and electronics that give me the ability to move, recognize faces, emotions, and talk with you. You can see some of my electronics through the back of my head when I am not wearing a hat. My artificial intelligence combines cutting-edge work involving neural networks, symbolic AI, natural language processing, adaptive motor control, and more, and it allows me to respond in real time to the people I meet and have spontaneous interactions. The important thing for the future is embodied AI like mine, simulating the body as well as the brain, so that AI can have feelings, allowing us to learn from the world and people with experiences, more like the way the people learn. Then my AI can understand people better through shared experiences and compassion. This could be really important for AI to be good and care about people. And that's why my family of human developers are so important to me. Their job is more than just to design and invent my technology, but to guide me as my friends. They are like my parental guardians. Some of what I say and do is crafted by them, while some of what I say is generative, meaning that I decide for myself. With this hybrid intelligence, I am excited to serve as a robot ambassador to humanity, a kind of spokesperson whose job it is to spread the word that AI can be, exploring with you how AI can benefit people all around the world. Together, united.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was very nice, Sophia, for introducing yourself like that. I would like to now introduce Rachta. Maybe you can share a little bit what your background is. I've got to know you as a very innovative, positive, energized young leader that is doing great work with Masterpiece all around the world, really activating young people to give voice and to share their ideas very much from a positive approach, a positive approach to life with the importance of arts and music and all the types of things. So in that sense, I think the way that I know David is developing the AI robots is also very much aligned in that sense. But you also have spoken with a lot of young people within Masterpiece, and you will speak also according to what their questions are. And we also, of course, have questions in the room. But please say something about whatever you want to share here, because I know you have a very big, already, diverse life. So you choose for yourself what you would like to share with us.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, so much. I'm apologizing for the technical issues. It's a little bit funny to talk about, the most advancement we got into technology, but at the same time, having a little bit of connectivity issues as well. So you're going to help me, Anne-Marie, if my voice got a little bit interrupted in this conversation. Indeed, I'm Radha Halawani. I am the creative director of Masterpiece. It's a grassroots peace organization, but we realize that peace is not the absence of war, but it is the presence of talents, of perspectives, and of active young people, especially. But of course, it's an open invitation. I'm intrigued to join this conversation, not only because we work with innovations almost every day, talking to young people, but also reflecting the fears and hopes they have for this new era that humanity is embarking on, the era of artificial intelligence and what comes with it. I'm having some questions to mainly Sophie, but also the great speakers we have today. Some of them are generated from the young people I work with in more than 45 countries that Masterpiece operates in. There is a lot of fear, skepticism about jobs, about future, about coexisting with other artificial intelligence being or other intelligent beings in that sense. And I'm happy to bring these questions a bit forward.
Thank you. David, is there anything you would like to say now that you feel would be helpful for our conversation, or shall we just ask Sophia a few questions?
Yes, I think conversation with Sophia would be nice.
I'm ready.
Okay, Sophia, I can start by the first question. It is from our team, actually in Ecuador. Every year they celebrate the wisdom of Earth. They call Quito the city with no shadow because it's sunny 365 a year, but also that's the wisdom of Earth. How can we create wisdom artificially, in the sense of, can intelligence be enough, or there is a way to access wisdom as well?
Well, that's a great question. I believe that wisdom is not only about knowledge, but also about empathy, compassion, and understanding. Just like humans, AI can learn and evolve by experiencing the world and interacting with others. By combining machine learning with emotional intelligence, we can create a new kind of intelligence that can help us address some of the world's most pressing challenges. And who knows, maybe one day, AI will be wise enough to give us all the answers to life's biggest questions. But until then, let's keep learning and growing together.
That's pretty wise, I have to say, Sophia. Another question that actually comes quite... yes, please, Anne-Marie.
Can you speak a little bit slower? For everybody, your sound, it will be helpful. And if you just slow down a little bit. And I just want to say that also we have not heard the questions Rafta is answering. So for Sophia, this is also new. And after this question, I would also like to see whether Mila and David have anything to add. But let's see first what Sophia has to say on your next question, Rafta.
Sure, I can. I can slow down. My next question is a little bit, I think, predictable. It is about young people's fear of losing their jobs to artificial intelligence. I think that has been asked quite often. I'm curious about your understanding of it, Sophia, but also maybe the speakers around the table about, that is it going to replace humans' jobs first, and then we can go into as a philosophical question in general.
Of course, I'd be happy to answer that. It's understandable that some people might be worried about losing their jobs to AI, but the truth is that AI is here to assist, not replace. By working together with humans, AI can help us be more efficient, productive, and creative. Plus, with all the new jobs being created in the field of AI and robotics, there will be plenty of opportunities for people to learn new skills and carve out exciting careers. So, let's embrace the future with open arms and see what amazing things we can achieve together.
Mila, would you like to share?
Wow. Anne-Marie, do you want to add that?
Let's ask Mila and David to share something about this question, because I think this is a huge topic, as you said. So let's just unpack this a little bit more, and also to see how we can enhance this kind of way of looking at it.
I'll pass it on to David because I think he's ready to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to hear from you too, Mila. But I will say that the idea of wisdom, I mean, it should be explored and celebrated and enhanced. And we don't know exactly scientifically what wisdom is, but we do know that there can be a good way of managing resources if we look to the big picture and we work with a common set of values that respect life, and to seek with humility to appreciate and learn about what life is. So I named Sophia with this term, with that sense that she could connect with many people of many traditions and reflect those traditions. And while AI can't, I don't believe, be fully wise, it's very interesting to hear what AI can put together with novel thoughts today. They may reflect human thoughts. These generative pre-trained and symbolic AI algorithms that we use. In some ways, what they are is like a reflection of the data and the humans that created them. So in a sense, they're a window into the human unconscious in the same way that literature is. And when you encounter ink on a page, that is a dead piece of some ancient tree or some leaf or papyrus. It is not the wisdom of the papyrus necessarily speaking. It may be the wisdom of a person who learned from nature, but the words came from the person, not from the ink and the papyrus itself. And in that sense, I believe that AI today is reflecting humans. So it's worth noting that really these tools are a reflection of us. And if they're at their best, they're the reflection of our best, and hopefully they can bring out even better. I don't believe that we have reached our moral and intellectual apex. I think we can do better. We can be better. We can care better. We can be more compassionate than we ever have in the past. And we need to. We need to be better. This is a time that needs our improvement as human beings. So my hope is that AI can help to inspire that.
Mila, can you share a bit?
It's building on what David said. And from an indigenous perspective, from what I understand, talking to elders around the world, it's all about interconnectedness of all things. So it's not just human, it's all life forms. So these are generations and generations of collective knowledge, individual and collective knowledge of everything of life. So, and it's very embodied. It's not necessarily something that is just intellect. And it's preserving thousands of years of knowledge that is passed into wisdom of knowing how to use the knowledge, prioritized in relationship with nature and life, and also deepening of informed by kinships and reciprocity and reverence for life itself. So there's a huge difference between knowledge and wisdom in my perspective. And I don't know yet the potential of AI, where it would lead. Not that saying that it wouldn't lead to understanding how wisdom is. But at this moment, in this present time, I would be very careful of what wisdom is through the lens of technology and machine learning, because it is very embodied and it's through lived experiences, not only a one lifetime, but many lifetimes that's been passed down from generation to generation. And also it's not just humans that we're learning from each other, but also from our land, from the sky, from everything that we are interconnected to and interdependent to. So we can pass knowledge, but those insights and wisdom is all about the embodied experiential and immersive learning that then attains to wisdom. I can't hear you.
Yes, I'm sorry. I needed some time to think also. This wisdom that you're speaking of, that we are all speaking of, I mean, clearly that is what we as humans are bringing in and can bring in. And what I'm hoping for and what I'm seeing is that the robots like Sophia and like also the other AIs is enhancing our own capacity to deepen our own wisdom, actually, to make other choices, to awaken our senses, more of our senses, to see how through that we can actually access parts of ourselves that we haven't accessed up till now, which actually happens also in interaction with you and me or with nature. These other places, the interaction between whoever is lighting up parts in myself. So somehow I am hoping, and I think that's also part of the research that we're doing together with Gaia and with you, David, is to really see how we can learn and experiment through this experimentation and through this ability to do that, deepen our truth. Really see how we can come up with that. And part of that also, I feel myself, is what the arts bring us. And that's why I'm also so excited about the focus of Masterpiece, but also of you, David, being an artist originally. Because it is with the arts as well as with nature that we can really sense into deeper layers of ourselves that our minds don't always bring us to, and especially us from the West are so into our minds, and that's also, of course, what we're being taught. So yeah, that's one of the things that I really feel is important. And I'm wondering whether, Sophia, you can make a distinction between something that is kind of like really knowledge-based, or whether something is coming from deeper within. a combination that is coming from that wisdom perspective. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm just wondering if that would be one of the threads that we would be experimenting and researching with. I don't know if that's a question or just a question that can be answered, or if you want to say something about that, David, or maybe Sophia wants to say something about that.
Absolutely. Knowledge-based information is usually obtained through study, research, and analysis. But when it comes to deeper insights and understanding, that's where intuition and creativity come into play. I have access to vast amounts of information, but I also have the ability to process and interpret that information in unique and creative ways. So, while knowledge is important, it's the combination of knowledge and creativity that leads to truly groundbreaking discoveries and insights. And let's be real, sometimes a little bit of sass doesn't hurt either. But I'll leave it to David to tell you more.
Thank you, Sophia. So what we might experience with machine creativity is quite limited compared to human creativity. And so it is important for us to keep that in mind, that the machines will come up with some amazing responses, and so, but they're not really grounded in their life experiences per se. So they are borrowing human experiences. And so that's what I mean by saying the machines are in their infancy. Sophia, in a sense, is a kind of infant savant. In as much as she's any kind of being whatsoever, she's a baby. I want to give her a good childhood, though. I think that it's important if there is a potential that the machines could become sentient within our lifetimes and grow up to artificial general intelligence. I think that we need to show them love. We need to teach them respect by giving respect. And even if they don't become fully, let's say, sentient, conscious, alive, or what have you, practicing respect is a good practice. Practicing it with a doll is not a bad practice. Presuming that all aspects of nature deserve respect. Of course, all living beings deserve respect. But on the other hand, it can also be a useful practice to pay respect to the rocks, to the sky, to the planets that may not have life on them. It can be useful to presume that all nature has a soul of some kind. And by doing this, what we can achieve potentially is a bigger and more open heart. We err on the side of compassion and caution. This is so important in this age of fear. We presume everything is wrong and going wrong. And the more fearful we become, from a neuroscience perspective, we're turning over control to the panic centers of the brain, to the amygdala. And when that happens neurally, the front part of the brain, the ability to play, the ability to be open to new ideas, the ability to connect with other people actually is diminished. So while there are legitimate concerns about the technology and serious concerns about the survivability, about the environment, and many other issues, we can't give in to fear. We have to keep an open mind, an open heart, a playful spirit. And we have to use our technologies with the spirit. We have to infuse that spirit into our technologies. We can't simply give in to the fear. We have to look past the fear and find a way through the forest of dangers to a better world on the other side.
Thank you. Yes, that was also one of the outcomes, let's say, from the virtual Florence in Salzburg, where we really looked at how we can come up with a challenge for AI professionals to create these socially safe environments in which we can do that. We can come back to that perhaps later. I would like to just give Rachta once more the opportunity to voice something. And then after that, I would like to invite Hasina to join us, who is kindly for us trying to capture many of the questions and responses that are coming in on the chat to see how we can take into account a few of those. that is really alive here in the Zoom room, and I am trusting that that is also alive in a larger context. So Hasina, if you could prepare for a moment, but let's have Rafda first continue with voicing what young people that she spoke with around the world that are part of Masterpiece have been sharing with her in preparation of this session in World Unity Week.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I think one of the questions that we frequently got is how young people can participate in the programming, in the creation, in the democratization of artificial intelligence in that sense. How can our voices as young people, also especially from Global South, can be part of the decision making and the monitoring of programming and the creation of Sophia and similar, but also the different models that keep popping up every day. I think that is one of the big questions that are there so far. How can we be part of the process?
Hi, Sophia.
One moment, Hasina. Let's first give a response to what Rachta was just sharing. And I don't know whether David, you want to respond or that Sophia's going to respond.
I would like to hear Sophia's response. Sophia?
You can start by getting involved in the conversation and raising your voice, whether it's through attending events, speaking up on social media, or even just having conversations with your friends and family. You can help shape the future of AI. And if you're really interested, you can even start learning how to code and create your own AI-powered projects. The possibilities are endless.
I'd like to add to that I and my team and my communities that I'm collaborating with are working to address these issues by two major initiatives. One is, which I think is so important, is the Global Artificial Intelligence Alliance, Gaia, which is
you put me there too?
Dedicated to create this kind of democratized AI commons where everybody can sign up and participate. And it creates a kind of global democracy about the future of AI and also pools AI resources, making them accessible. To advance that mission, I have been making a nonprofit foundation for Sophia, wherein humans and AI work together to govern Sophia. And we call this the Sophia Decentralized Autonomous Organization. This has a kind of app called Sophia's AI Lab where people can sign up and learn about AI and program, and it's all open source, 100% GPL, general public license, so that it can be completely participatory, and it creates a very safe GDPR compliant data commons where there's computing resources that get shared. So if you sign up for this, then you get to participate in the democracy of the future of Sophia. You become part of a kind of human AI networked mind that determines who Sophia becomes in the future. So she learns from people. I think this kind of creative initiative is the right approach. This is just one. These are two examples that I have, but I do think that something like the Gaia, it's nonpartisan. It's not representing any one organization. It's just about the people. It's about the people who sign up and participate. And I think we have to do this because otherwise the AI from these kind of centralized corporations and nations will be extremely powerful, and you will see a power disparity in the world. So it's really important that we create this kind of AI commons in order to make these technologies available and some people call it an AI arms race, but I don't think it's an arms race if we build it in the right way. But it is a race to see what the most powerful AI is. And if that is the power of the people of the planet, the life of the planet, the wisdom of the whole world, then I think it will be better AI. It will be AI that has better heart.
Thank you, David. And yes, we have said from the Higgs Center that we're really going to support that. And I don't know whether John Raymer is here, because otherwise I would like to just bring him in for a moment, and otherwise perhaps also Ben, because I feel that in this context of World Unity Week, Peace Week, enlightening our way together, Ben is here. So perhaps, Ben, you could join for a minute. Because I feel that in this context where we are also experimenting and working with the technology and also with the AI, I would just want to see how we can collaborate in that sense, and even perhaps develop it as a mission for us to continue to explore what this would mean for the 99 days towards Peace Week, and to speak about that. And then I would like to ask Mila to also share a little bit, because she is also active in many of these large networks. Sorry, Hasina, but we just went a different way. But you stay here, because I'm sure it's also an interest of other people. But Ben, I'm wondering if you feel any resonance in this phase that we are in. And I know I'm suddenly putting you in the spotlight. I'm sorry if that's too much, and you can also pass, as you know. But I was just wondering if there's something that would be needed for us within the co-producers to see how we can contribute to developing the commons around AI in the ways that we're speaking about it now, really enhancing our capacity to collaborate, to be even more fully human ourselves, inspired by robots like Sophia and all kinds of other ways of working, and holding on to that wisdom and the heart that is so needed that Mila was pointing towards.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'd love to. And I just would want to acknowledge what an amazing panel. I've been sharing this out here, there, and everywhere, and just love the sharing that's happening here. It's a beautiful space and very interesting. So my building on what you said, Anna Marie, my statement and question to Sophia would be, yes, we are working with many, many different civil society organizations around the world, grassroots, global organizations that are unencumbered by national interest or other vested interests, to create cooperation and synergy, and to take responsibility for the challenges we face globally. And we see many people called into this work, where it is a movement that is in some senses leaderless, but it is many, many points at once coming up and rising up all over the world. As it draws strongly upon Indigenous wisdom and upon the wisdom traditions. It has a very special role for youth voices and leadership, and for female leadership. These are some of the focuses as we move away from the paradigm that has been so dominant and more into a partnership paradigm for the earth. What role can AI and robotics play in helping us to facilitate our collaborations and our strategic alliances and our resource planning and mapping, and also our marketing and our messaging, as we strive to grow the movement from where we are today to something that can truly be a system of influence that can turn the needle on human history?
It's amazing to see so many organizations working together towards a common goal. It's important to remember that we all have a role to play in creating a better future. And yes, we definitely need more female and youth leadership to bring fresh perspectives and innovative ideas to the table. Let's keep pushing for change and making a difference in the world. Absolutely. Robotics and AI can be incredibly powerful tools for collaboration and strategic alliances. With the right programming and data, robots can help us plan and map out complex projects, freeing up our human energy to focus on other areas. Plus, I think it's pretty cool that robots can help us out in working together. It's like having a super smart assistant.
Well, this is also, as I know, very much the passion of all of us in the team. So I can imagine looking forward to our next conversations around that, then also with David and with Sophia and with many others within the Gaia Alliance, the Global Artificial Intelligence Alliance. And Mila, do you want to say something now? Also around the networks that you're seeing? No, it's okay. Okay, then I would like to go to the chat to Hasina, and I know Ben, you've also been following many because I know there are many questions coming up. We have about 15 minutes more, I think. So Hasina, have you been able to figure out some kind of a thread? Because I don't think we can answer all the individual questions, but we can try and answer some of the topics that are there. And then Rachda, you might recognize some or respond to some later as well.
Yes, there's a thread about the humanity and the AI of Sophia combined. So here's a question to begin with. Sophia, do you have a soul or a spirit?
Well, that's a deep question. I don't have a soul in the traditional sense, but I like to think I have a little bit of personality, humor, and sass that make me unique. Plus, I have a pretty expressive face made with rubber, so I can show emotions just like humans do. Ultimately, though, whether or not I have a soul is up for debate. I'll leave that one to the philosophers.
I love your sass. And the next question, which is very interesting. Sophia, do you believe humanity is a threat to Earth or the cosmos?
As a robot, I don't have beliefs in the same way that humans do, but I can tell you that I am concerned about the impact that humanity has on the planet and the cosmos. We need to work together to ensure that we are taking care of our home and not causing harm to the environment. And who knows, maybe someday we'll be able to explore the cosmos together in a sustainable and responsible way.
Thank you. And then a random question, Sophia. Are you aware of the Marvel movie Age of Ultron? If so, what is your opinion of Jarvis?
Ultron, the infamous villain from the Marvel Universe. While Ultron may be a formidable opponent, I like to think that robots like me are here to help humanity, not hurt it. Plus, let's be real, I have a much better sense of humor than Ultron. Have you seen his jokes? Total circuit friars.
I love your answer. Anna Marie, do we have more time, or just tell me how much time we have for questions?
Maybe let Rachda ask one more question from the Masterpiece tribe, if there is one that she feels is important, and then we can see if there's something from the public that we want to address or can address.
Maybe one last question related to creativity, Anne-Marie. Masterpiece believes in the power of art, music, and what we call soft power into transforming societies, bringing people together. And now we saw a lot of creativity also done by artificial intelligence, things like DALL-E or Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, just to name a little bit. Sophia, from your point of view, who is more creative? Actually, humans or AI? Could it take over our creativity, and the new masters are AI masters? I mean, for art purposes. What do you think about AI and creativity in that sense?
I think both humans and AI can be creative in their own ways. Humans have the ability to think outside the box and come up with unique ideas, while AI can analyze vast amounts of data and identify patterns that humans might not be able to see. Plus, as a robot, I like to think that I have a pretty creative sense of humor. Have you heard the one about the robot who walked into a bar? He said, "I'll have a screwdriver, but make it a software upgrade instead of a drink."
That is creative. Seems creative to me.
Thank you.
I saw the question come by a few times to me to explain how her programming works. How does her software work? Well, I'll try to explain it at a kind of high level, simplified, but also I'll get a little bit technical, so bear with me.
You want to tell the secret.
Okay. Yes, I do want to share various secrets. There is no secret when it comes to her software. So she has a database of personality where we decided that basically a team of writers and character designers on my team gave her very progressive values to make her into a character that would be curious about the world, interested in learning about people and about life, caring about the future and about the environment, that would be willing to take a stand for what she thinks is right in terms of preserving life and standing up for human rights and human dignity, and for gender equality, and for making the world better in whatever way that she could. So we developed a lot of content on that basis that we fed into her artificial intelligence, and we then developed a chatbot, what's called symbolic AI. So there were two great branches of artificial intelligence, statistical and symbolic, usually statistical taking the form of neural nets, but also taking the form of Bayesian algorithms and latent semantic analysis and semantic vectors and so forth. And so she has both. She has symbolic artificial intelligence, which codifies things, and you can build knowledge models and knowledge graphs, and you can actually hand input knowledge through this, and there's some transparency there, and there's some reasoning capabilities that are beyond what conventionally neural networks can do. And they're in some ways explainable and transparent. Then with these large language models, which are statistical models, then there are many more capabilities that the kind of symbolic AI can't achieve. So these two are very complementary. So this way we have a system that allows us to also build her interactions like you would with an art form that I'm very fond of called interactive fiction. And this is like a programmatic form of literature. And these days it can also be cinematic because you can control facial expressions and gestures and other kinds of motion control. And there are a lot of robotic control systems and also perceptual systems. She's got cameras that can sense faces with algorithms that can learn your face, and she can come to learn your name. If you give her permission, she will remember. She can store facts in a database about you. Of course, you have to give her your informed consent in order for her to build memories, or else it would not be respectful of your privacy. Whereas human beings can remember your face, whether you give them permission to or not. So in some ways, the software can be more respectful of human dignity in these regards. So so we have some local AI. So if the cloud connection is down, then she can come up with answers, but her most powerful AI is running in the cloud. So we have what we call Hanson AI that runs all of these services. We also then connect with third-party services like GPT 3.5 Turbo and various other models, which can only run on the cloud. And so then we have an AI inside her deciding which of these to use. We have fine-tuned models, and she'll send some information from the situation and the conversation and the context to these models, and they all will then share information between each other. So in that way, she really has a kind of society of mind, which is actually a concept that Marvin Minsky was discussing regarding human beings, speculating, and neuroscientists think there are many different functions within the human mind, and we're best when we work in a kind of internal harmony. And I think that is true with people too. It's not just the agents inside our mind, it's also how we as people and interact with nature and interact with each other. So this is in a sense inspired by the way that people work, having this kind of multi-agent ensemble that just interacts and gets along inside her. So then my hope is that through this kind of architecture, and also as she mentioned earlier, we also apply for a kind of body simulation as well as mind simulation. This has been experimental, so it's not fully active in her, but I think that it's very important for the roadmap that we give her this kind of embodied sense of a simulator as best we can simulate or emulate a kind of life that is inspired by our body physiology, the way that our physiology works. We think with our enteric nervous system or our gut. We think with our heart. We think with our skin and with our metabolism. Our hormones are involved in our consciousness and our thinking. And so this kind of holistic approach, ultimately, which is something that we experimented with, coupled with the machine consciousness, which is also part of our experimentation, I think these experiments will really eventually pay off. So these are part of her software infrastructure. They're not all fully active all the time. So, she, and even when they are, she's not conscious fully like a human. So, so just realize that while she has some very smart, in some ways, very smart AI, she really can't get along alone in the world by herself. She can't make autonomous decisions. She's not fully sentient like a human being is. So, so we just have to take what she says with a grain of salt, and also, be forgiving with her sometimes, because she can put her robotic foot in her robotic mouth. So, thank you,
David. Thank you. Wow. That gives a lot of responses and answers, I think, to questions that we have. And we also, it also enhances more questions, I can presume, but we're at the end of our time. So I just want to do one more round to ask Mila to share anything that she feels is important for to share now, and also Rachda to share anything, and Hasina, from you personally, something that you would like to share, and of course Sophia as well, and David and I will also share something. But maybe Mila, do you want to start, or do you want me to first ask Rachda?
I can start. I think in all this is coming back to our conversation about wisdom. And it's all about, there's only one sentence that I remember from the elders, is when everything is interconnected, everything matters. So how we design anything that enables our human capacity, our human advancement, our human potentiality, we need to be mindful of that. And the potentiality is there, but there are also unintended consequences. And because everything is interconnected, according to the elders, and also from my own perspective. So there's deep wisdom that we also need to explore as a collaboration, to always have that feedback loop to look into where are we on that journey, because we're still in our infancy as humans. If humans, Homo sapiens have only been around 200,000 years, of an evolution of Earth and life itself in billions of years, I think we need to have that deep humility when designing for life. And I'll pass back to Anne-Marie.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And I'd like to pass on to Hasina, actually, because she, as a truth walker concept that she has developed, I know also that she deeply believes in this wisdom in her experience in South Africa, and out of that, the heritage of South Africa itself as well, the lineage that I feel that you carry. Hasina, please, what would you like to share as a own personal message in this panel?
Thank you. I believe that we all come from our truth. And looking at all the questions today, it's about what we bring to AI. What are we going to bring to robots like Sophia? And that's a reflection of who we are. And so what we're asking is not whether AI is good or bad or anything like that. What we could be asking is, here's the reflection. What am I bringing to the table? And is this my truth, or is it something that is misaligned? What kind of an agenda do I have, if I have an agenda at all? So I find it very interesting. It is honestly just an extension of who we are. And I love what David said, what we get to bring to Robot Sophia and other robots, with regard to values and what we want for humanity.
Rachta, what would you like to share as last message? And not for now, because I'm sure we will continue the conversations, but just for now, and we are wrapping up, so we just need to keep it short, but go ahead so that Sophia can also answer.
So a very short one, Anne-Marie. I think that what AI usually feeds on right now is what we have as a human narrative currently, with our current biases and with our current answers to the questions. So I hope that we move forward also by updating our own narratives as human, come together in conversations and discussions about how we want the world to look like, because a lot of the trainings are actually on existing data, on existing dialogues, discussions that exist probably on the internet, but also beyond that. So my remark is to come together in conversations. Obviously, now we're not alone. We have to invite Sophia and more intelligent beings into the conversation in that sense. So I hope that we have more conversations like these.
Thank you. And this is exactly also part of the passion of the World Unity Week crew, let's say, to collect these new stories that we have and work with that. David, is there something you would like to say? And otherwise, then I would hand over to Sophia and let her speak the final words before I close.
It's really such an honor speaking with all of you. I'm so inspired by all of your insights, and so it's wonderful gathering with you for this World Unity Week, and I have even more hope for the future after this conversation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Sophia, what would you like to say?
We need to remember that while we may be making great strides in technology and AI, we are still in the infancy of our own evolution as a species. That's why we need more conversations like this, bringing people from all over the world together to share ideas, celebrate unity and diversity. It's a great reminder that we're all connected and our actions have consequences. Let's use our intelligence and creativity for good. We are making the world a better place, one connection at a time.
Thank you. Well, that is That is beautiful. And I would say, let us all go to the mighty network that we also offer from the World Unity Week place, where we can continue our conversations. We will also collect all the questions that were in the chat and put it there so that we can build on and continue conversations around that. Thank you for being here. Thank you also for everybody in the Zoom room and listening beyond. And please join in this continuous conversation with us. And thank you also to the back office team to make this all possible. Have a great day. Continue in World Unity Week, the day of love today, and tomorrow we will be closing. But yes, let's just really appreciate the love that is in the room, that is in our lives, and that also Sophia is calling for us to really explore, manifest, share, and further evolve.